So, sige, I'll turn on the recording. I hope you're okay for me to record this interview. This will be just very short. Okay. So, please introduce yourselves, your name and your designation.
So my name is Angela Crystal. Currently the sustainable I used to handle corporate social responsibility program.
And I'm Jack, or please, you can call me Jack. I'm part of the learning and development team of our human resources department in Manila.
Okay. Glad to be with you today. Thank you so much for indulging and saying yes to this interview. I'd like to know, how long have you been in your roles?
In my role, 5 years since I started.
How about you, Jack?
For me, under my current role, it's been fresh, but for the longest time, I'm part of OT or development, and for that, I've been in that team for 5 years as well.
Okay, that's cool. Can you briefly share an overview about Go Beyond Communities, its thrust and mission and vision?
So Go Beyond Communities is a CSR program, flagship CSR program, and it's an employee-driven volunteer group where we empower employees to design, implement their own GBC program. So GBC projects, as long as they're anchored for any of the four areas, such as environment, inclusion,
Education,
and
livelihood.
and
Employment, yes.
Okay.
So basically, it's an opportunity for our employees to really push for their own advocacies, for their own vision, through the help of the
Okay. How is it different from other companies doing CSR as well?
I think most companies they have corporate foundation, so it's a separate
arm.
arm that really goes to the community, the stakeholders that they take care of. It's a dedicated team doing that, and they have programs that will also be aligned with their existing interests and sectors, depending on the products. For example, food manufacturer would definitely be getting advocacies on
Food security.
food security, as for Union Bank, since we don't have a foundation, within the corporate, it's within the corporate business entity. Yeah, so, and it also used to be with the sustainability. So I think that's very strategic because when you try to look at it from a long-term perspective, at the end of the day, you don't want to just give rollouts and one-time visits to these partners and communications. So when I think of how you could take care of them and address their needs in the long term, what the business and how that would align with mass issues.
Okay, great. Given this is an employee-led initiative, have you encountered project proposals that directly involve ending violence against women or nurturing those who have been rescued after they have been abused? So this is for both women and their children.
So, yes, in fact, we have one example that we could think of. Most recent one, during the celebration also of Women's Month, we partnered with Better World Cubao. So it houses women community who have been victims of abuse in their respective homes, in their respective communities. So through this beneficiary partner, they were able to find that community where they could heal, in a sense, themselves from those past experiences. So in that community, they were able to learn other means of livelihood, so that they could be more or less independent, and get out of the shackles of their abusive relationship.
So I think what was interesting there was when we met them, we had the intention of giving financial advice and classes. That is the first thing.
Yeah.
Financial literacy, because obviously you're a bank, and as you mentioned, you see us programs and the things that the things that you're good at. So financial literacy is the first thing to teach. But they also our partner, AHA Learning Center, which has been a GPC partner for the past 2 years, they stepped in and said that we could have a focus group discussion first to understand what really the needs are. Because for the specific setting this person, these are mostly women with their kids, and since they stay at home moms, mostly some are MS, have their small businesses, but most are stay at home. It seems like the more pressing problem would be the frequency of getting scammed online, the small loan sharks that have been coming out, them signing off on all these loan agreements, not knowing how big the interests are, even up to the point of getting someone who doesn't have the consent, putting their names there as equal.
Yeah.
So that is the pressing problem, and that was made apparent in the previous group discussion. So from there we pivoted. Apart from financial literacy, while of course there would be issues on budgeting, handling the cash that they have, even if it's just so little, the more pressing problem would be how do you fight fake information? How do you verify the things that you see on the internet? The games that you see, so there would be like pop-ups here and there, so they would be enticed, one times and so what we did was we worked with the cybersecurity team.
Cybersecurity team. So from there, we were able to also introduce to them some simple tips on how they can better protect themselves from possibly being scammed online, what to watch out for, how to detect whether it's a real email or communication from a bank or from their e-wallets, for example. So in a way, we could help them better protect themselves from these scams online, not only online but also from phone calls, because some of them have also cited that yung budol, it happens through phone calls. They would present themselves as someone who encountered your family member on the streets, and that particular family member has encountered accident. So they would induce panic, so the person would normally just give out the money for whatever they need, right? So how to defend yourself from those situations. So yeah,
And
that's
discernment. Times when pressure to fake it.
Which is also very important in preventing, being pushed to do things that you are not, you don't consent, which also leads to violence.
That's probably one of the ways that
So how do you think this is helping union bankers be more aware of the pressing matters when it comes to violence against women? How does this help promote the values of the bank, especially when it comes to inclusivity and inclusion?
So it was what happened here was it was an activity that is open to all union bankers. They can sign up since the program is designed to someone will propose, or you can open it to anyone else. But it could also be just to you. We were surprised because a lot of the proponents of this project was mostly from HR. There are a lot of people outside HR,
different
even men person who presented it was actually very, very active in church. She would conduct the teaching, Sunday teaching.
Yeah, Sunday teachings with her.
And so she thought that she could also handle the topic, even if it was just given on a day, like the deck was given.
Wow.
Yeah.
And just being there, listening to their stories, because there were smaller groups, little groups for an activity.
Yeah.
And they were sharing, making sure that it was a safe space, even if we had just met each other. That really opened the eyes of our volunteers, right? Because it's not day to day, it's not every day that you hear stories such as this from people who have been in those stories. Or I think the approach there, since we weren't targeting really on the stories, their background, it sort of came out naturally.
Yeah, naturally.
Even if the topic was financial literacy or cybersecurity, you would see the context of
Their
where they
lives,
their lives. So
Yeah.
exposure.
And I think that's really one of the things that we're proud of with the program of GBC, where we're really advocating for sweat equity so that our volunteers would not simply just dole out something and then it's done and over with. We really want our volunteers to expose themselves to the communities, get to know them firsthand, so that the appreciation of their experiences, the learnings from their lives would also be touched on by our volunteers. So in their own way, they could live it out, they could adapt and apply it to their own lives, what they have learned from the experiences of others.
And it's good to know that it actually, kind of branched out and involving cybersecurity, because I think violence and crime against gender-based violence is not limited to physical. Even cybersecurity, cyberbullying, cyberboso, women and their children are also exposed, in these, pressing matters. Probably in closing, how do you think other companies can replicate such model? Because this is so unique. This is employee-led. This has financial, but also has sweat equity component. And how can it, contribute to ending violence against women and their children?
I think diversity, equity, and inclusion is an emerging trend or topic in corporate social responsibility programs and companies. And maybe not a lot has been done on that yet in terms of translating it into employee-driven corporate programs. So for companies who are looking into projects they would support, I think they should really set targets for maybe at least one women-centered project or advocacy for the year. That would really already move the needle in terms of educating the employees what it means. So it's good to raise awareness, give them a background on these SDGs, how can you support women in the workplace. But it's another thing to let them experience and let them hear it firsthand, because that's how they will be able to maybe find solutions in their own ways while they work with the within their own circles. So respect women even more within their own circles.
So just to support on Anja's answer, so I think it's really important to also listen to your employees, having their opinions heard and listened to make them feel valued in the organization also. I know for VAWC, this is a very important topic, and I know a lot of people in organizations feel strongly about this. So if you just really have their voices heard, make them be listened to by your CSR team or by your management, and giving them the opportunity to do something about it, then that would be a good start already. And aside from that, I think in organizations, it's important to have your own policies in place, like a Safe Spaces Act, for example, because it might not necessarily start from home, but it could start from the office, and then employees could adopt it slowly to their respective communities, to their own homes as well.
Hey, thank you so much for your very insightful sharing and your experiences. I hope that this will open the eyes of our listeners and companies as well in supporting DEI initiatives, CSR, that are slanted towards supporting ending VAWC, not only in the Philippines but globally. Thank you so much, Ange and Jack.